From the fertile plains of Bengal, where every blade of grass seems brushed with the memory of rain, the land unfurls with serene majesty. The horizon stretches wide and green, a soft quilt stitched together by the patient hands of rivers and time. Rising gently in undulating waves, the terrain beckons you eastward, as it transitions from flat, open fields to the rolling foothills that stand like the gentle sentinels of the Himalayas. Here, as the land begins to gather itself into hills and highlands, the very air seems to thicken with the promise of mystery. Beyond the plains, the world lifts and bends, reaching toward the storied Seven Sister States of northeastern India. Mists trail their fingers along the arms of the hills, cloaking them in layers of quiet wonder. Across the invisible borders, the hills ripple onward into the verdant realms of Bangladesh and Burma, where the line between forest and sky blurs into a wash of jade and silver. In these isolated reaches, every wind carries the scent of rain and bamboo. Every dawn unwraps itself through veils of fog, and every sunset is a silent chorus of gold. In this place, the pulse of nature is a living song. It begins with the whisper of bamboo groves, where the stalks sway in patient harmony, their long leaves shivering softly in the morning breeze. It thrums in the deep, primal rhythm of tribal drums, their sounds carrying from hillside to hillside in the evening chill, echoing the heartbeat of communities who have called these hills home for centuries. Sometimes, the silence itself becomes a melody, broken only by the slight hush as winds thread their way through untouched valleys and over distant ridgelines. The rivers here are ancient storytellers. Far away, high above the world, in the snow-blessed heights of the Himalayas, they are born as glinting threads of meltwater and ice. Gravity pulls them down steep cliffs and through winding gorges, and they grow restless and bold. Along their long, tireless journey, they begin to braid themselves together, gaining strength and purpose with every twist and turn. In the deltaic plains of Bengal, their paths thread together like a tapestry, each stream nourishing the dark, fertile earth, each tributary bearing gifts of silt and life. These rivers do not merely shape the geography, they shape destiny. They flood and recede in age-old cycles, feeding rice paddies at the season's edge, bestowing bounty but sometimes teasing disaster. Along their shifting banks, villages have flourished, farmers have tilled, fishermen have set out before dawn with hope spun across their small wooden boats like nets. For centuries, these waterways have cradled civilizations, serving as highways for culture, commerce, and the quiet poetry of everyday life. And always, inevitably, every river meets the sea. Their mingled waters grow slow and heavy, fanning outward into countless veins before finally surrendering to the vast, warm embrace of the Bay of Bengal. Here, beneath a sky that at sunset flames with impossible color, the land dissolves into the tides. Fishermen mend their nets on the sand, while children chase crabs along the shifting shoreline. The last light of day slips across tidal pools and mangrove roots, whispering stories of journey's end and new beginnings. But this landscape is not only a meeting of earth and water. It is a confluence of cultures, peoples, and histories. Each winding path through forest and field leads to a different world, to bustling markets fragrant with spices, to thatched roof villages where time feels unhurried, to serene monasteries hugging the ridges, their bells calling across the valleys as they have for generations. The borders here are not merely the lines on a map. They are crossroads where languages meet, traditions entwine, and identities blend. In the Seven Sister States, ancient tribal customs endure, layered with the echoes of countless migrations and exchanges. Dances that imitate the flight of birds or the stride of wild beasts, festivals where masks and music fill the night, crafts honed by hand and memory. All these tell the ongoing story of adaptation and persistence. Further south and east, in the gentle hills reaching into Bangladesh and Burma, the rhythm of rural life continues as it always has. Rice harvested by hand under the watchful eyes of egrets, songs rising over smoky evening fires, prayers whispered in temples crowned by flowering trees. This land is marked by contrasts and harmonies. The silent sentinels of the bamboo groves give way to bustling village squares, where laughter and commerce spill into the open air. The rigid, snow-fed discipline of the Himalayan streams softens as they unwind into the languid, fertile delta. Here, ancient terracotta temples watch over modern neon-lit streets. Age-old epics are recited beneath satellite dishes and the hum of new technology. At every turn, vitality and tradition exist in dynamic, ever-renewing balance. Even the weather here tells a story of abundance and transformation. The monsoon arrives as a sovereign, sometimes gentle, sometimes wrathful, always irresistible. Under its reign, rivers rise and fields turn brilliant green. Life erupts in every crevice, and the anniversary of water's return is marked in festival and song. When the storm clouds finally retreat, the land breathes a collective sigh, shimmering with new growth. The wildlife here is equally varied and rich. Elephants wander forest corridors, silent despite their size, moving through groves where once tigers were said to prowl. Bright birds flash through the trees, on tree tops, their calls rising in sudden joyful bursts. In quiet backwaters, otters somersault and turtles sun themselves on half-sunken logs. Even the insects, in their nightly chorus, add a layer of rhythm to the grand living tapestry. But above all, it is the people, millions bound by rivers, fields, and history, who give meaning to the land. Their faces reflect the world's diversity, their lives shaped by an intimacy with place that spans generations. In stories whispered beside cooking fires, in ballads sung at the close of day, in the traditions carried on with reverence, this connection endures. There is wisdom in the way a farmer reads the clouds. There is artistry in how a weaver captures the palette of sunrise. There is resilience in each home rebuilt after the river floods. All that is Bengal and all that is the East lies in the mingling of waters, of tongues, of dreams and memory. It is a region that has welcomed, absorbed, and transformed countless influences, yielding something entirely its own, a culture that is robust yet fluid, rooted yet open, as ever-changing as the courses of its great rivers. Here, beauty is wild, untamed, unrepeatable. Every fold of the hillside, every eddy in the river, every festival or whispered prayer, all speak of a place both ancient and eternal. Abundance lies not only in harvests, but in the shared spirit that unites people across terrain, creed, and time. From the lush Bengal plains to the arms of the Himalayas, across the highlands of Bangladesh and Burma, through canopies of bamboo and along rivers that have shaped lives for millennia, you find a world of confluence, of landscapes, cultures, and the timeless beauty of nature itself. This is a place where every journey tells 1,000 stories, and where the meeting of earth, water, and people creates a legacy as deep and enduring as the rivers that wind toward the waiting sea.